There's a question nobody asks you at your graduation. Nobody asks it at your wedding. Nobody asks it when you get the promotion, buy the car, or post the vacation photos. The question is simple: how free are you, actually? Not how successful. Not how impressive your job title sounds at a dinner party. Free. As in, if you lost your income tomorrow, how many days could you survive before your life started collapsing? That's not a guess. That's the median. Most working adults in wealthy countries are one bad month away from financial free fall, and yet we've built an entire culture that measures worth by appearance of success instead of the architecture underneath it. Here's the truth this video is built on: financial freedom isn't a single finish line you cross one day in your 50s. It's a ladder. 7 distinct levels, each with its own psychology, its own traps, and its own quiet victories. And whether you're 18 and broke or 45 and wealthy, you are standing on one of these rungs right now, whether you realize it or not. So let's climb it. Together. From the dorm room to the deathbed, this is the real architecture of a free life. Picture the 18-year-old version of you. Maybe it was you. You're not earning a real income yet. You're surviving on scholarships, grants, student loans, a part-time job that barely covers coffee and laundry money. Every dollar that reaches your bank account came from somewhere other than your own labor. This is level 1, the subsistence level. And here's the psychological trap almost nobody talks about. At this stage, money feels abstract. It's not something you earn through grit. It's something that was allocated to you. And abstract money gets spent differently than earned money. Studies in behavioral economics call this the windfall effect. Money that didn't cost you sweat doesn't feel like it costs you anything to spend. But here's the quiet magic of level 1 that almost nobody appreciates until it's gone. You have almost zero real overhead. No mortgage. No dependents. No car payment eating your paycheck alive. This is the only period in your entire life where your financial mistakes are, statistically, the cheapest they will ever be. The goal at level 1 isn't wealth. It's literacy. It's learning what a budget feels like before the stakes get real. The people who exit this level strongest aren't the ones who save the most money. They're the ones who learn to track where every dollar went, because in 3 years, that habit is the difference between drowning and swimming. And then, one day, the safety net disappears. Welcome to level 2. This is the moment the scholarship money stops. The loans stop covering rent. Mom and dad's safety net, even if it was never explicit, quietly withdraws. And suddenly you're the one signing the lease. This is the self-sustaining level, the first time in your life your survival depends entirely on your own labor. And the psychological gut punch here is universal. Overhead arrives faster than income does. Rent. Utilities. Insurance. Groceries that used to magically appear in a dining hall. A car that needs actual maintenance instead of a bike with a busted chain. For most 20-somethings, this is the year they discover that a paycheck that sounded enormous at 19, "I'll be making how much?" evaporates by the 15th of the month. Here's the trap at this level: lifestyle creep disguised as deserving it. You got the job, you survived the interviews, so you buy the nicer apartment, the new phone, the dinners out, because you earned it. And you did earn it. But level 2 isn't about deserving things. It's about proving to yourself, for the first time, that you can cover your own existence without anyone catching you if you fall. The people who exit level 2 strongest are the ones who treat breaking even as a victory lap, not a disappointment. Because breaking even on your own, for the first time, that's not failure. That's the foundation being poured. And once you can stand on your own 2 feet, the next question becomes, what happens if the ground shakes? There's a specific kind of anxiety that lives in the chest of anyone who's ever lived paycheck to paycheck. It's the feeling of checking your bank balance before buying groceries. It's the silent math you do at every gas station. Level 3 is where that anxiety finally starts to loosen its grip. This is the flexibility level, the era where you begin building what financial psychologists call a buffer, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, sitting quietly in an account, doing nothing except existing, as insurance against chaos. Because life doesn't ask permission before it throws a punch. a layoff, a medical bill, a transmission that dies on a Tuesday. Without a buffer, any one of these events can knock you backward 5 years. With a buffer, they're inconveniences instead of catastrophes. Here's what changes psychologically at this level, and it's profound. Your relationship with your job shifts. When you have zero savings, every job, even a toxic one, feels like it has all the power. When you have 6 months of buffer, you walk into that same office with a different posture. You're not desperate. You're choosing to be there, at least for now. This is the level where money stops being just survival and starts becoming leverage, even in its smallest form. You're not rich. You're not even close. But for the first time, you could say no to something unbearable and survive the fallout. And that seed of leverage? It's about to grow into something much bigger. By your early 30s, something shifts. The buffer from level 3 has matured. Maybe there's a side income now, freelancing, a small investment portfolio, a side business born out of a hobby. This is level 4, the choice level. And its defining feature isn't a number in a bank account, it's a feeling. It's the feeling of sitting across from a bad boss during a negotiation and realizing, for the first time in your working life, I don't actually need this job to survive. That single realization rewires how you show up in every room. You negotiate harder because the fear of losing the offer no longer controls you. You take the calculated risk, the startup, the career pivot, the move to a new city, because you have a financial runway underneath you. This is also, statistically, the level where the biggest identity shift of the entire ladder happens. Up until now, you've been playing defense, surviving, stabilizing, protecting. At level 4, for the first time, you start playing offense. You're not just avoiding financial disaster anymore. You're actively engineering opportunity. But level 4 has a shadow side too. This is where lifestyle inflation quietly seduces the unprepared. Bigger house, nicer car, private school considerations, expenses that feel like earned upgrades but that silently reset your walkaway number back to 0. The people who master this level don't stop upgrading their lives. They just make sure their assets grow faster than their obligations. Because up next is the level where the entire game changes. Where, for the first time in your life, your money stops needing you. There is a specific, quiet moment that changes everything, and almost nobody marks it on a calendar. It's the moment you check your investment portfolio and realize the market's gains that month were larger than your paycheck. Welcome to level 5. The compounding level. This is where dividends, interest, rental income, and market appreciation stop being background noise and start becoming a real, measurable percentage of your monthly lifestyle. Not all of it. Not yet. But enough that you feel the shift. This is the level where Einstein's, possibly apocryphal, but eternally true, observation about compound interest stops being a Pinterest quote and starts being your actual bank statement. Growth that looked flat for a decade suddenly curves upward, almost violently. Here's the psychological plot twist most people don't expect. Level 5 doesn't feel like winning the lottery. It feels anticlimactic at first, because compounding is invisible for years before it becomes undeniable. The people who reach this level are almost always the ones who kept investing quietly through market crashes, recessions, and years where the numbers barely moved. And something else changes here, subtly. Your physical labor starts to feel optional in a way it never has before. Not because you're rich, but because for the first time, your capital is doing real, measurable work alongside you. But there's one level left before optional becomes official. This is the level the entire ladder has been building toward. Level 6. The moment your passive income, investments, real estate, royalties, dividends, business equity, covers 100% of your desired cost of living. Not your minimum survival cost. Your desired lifestyle. The travel. The dinners. The version of life you actually want, not the stripped-down version you settled for. At this level, work becomes something almost unrecognizable from what it was at level 2. It's no longer a mechanism for survival. It becomes a creative outlet, a passion project, a way to stay engaged with the world, entirely by choice. And here's the twist nobody warns you about. reaching level 6 doesn't automatically deliver happiness. Plenty of people arrive here and feel lost, because for 20 years, their identity was fused to their job title, their hustle, their grind. The healthiest people at this level aren't the ones who stop working, they're the ones who finally get to ask, for the first time in their adult lives, what would I do if money were never a factor again? This is liberation. But liberation, it turns out, still requires purpose to feel like anything other than drifting. And that search for purpose leads directly into the final, and arguably most powerful, level of all. By now, personal consumption has stopped being the ceiling. At level 7, the question is no longer, how do I afford my life? It's, what does my capital make possible beyond my own life? This is the generational level. Scholarship funds, family trusts, angel investing in the next generation's ideas, philanthropic foundations, buying the land that becomes the community center, funding the wells, the schools, the medical research, the small business that couldn't get a loan anywhere else. This is where money completes its full transformation, from a tool of survival, to a tool of choice, to a tool of legacy. The level 1 college kid stretching a scholarship check and the level 7 elder funding one for someone else are, remarkably, standing at two ends of the exact same ladder. So here's the real question this video was always building toward. Forget the headlines about billionaires. Forget comparing yourself to a curated highlight reel online. Which rung are you actually standing on today? If you're in your early 20s, stretching a stipend or a first paycheck, you are not behind. You are exactly where the ladder begins. The only mistake at this stage is comparing your rung to someone else's, instead of focusing on the climb. If your paycheck to paycheck was zero buffer, your entire mission for the next 12 months is simple, almost boring, and completely non-negotiable. Build the buffer. 3 months. Then 6. That single cushion will change how fear operates in every decision you make from here forward. If you already have that buffer, your next unlock isn't more savings. It's leverage. Negotiate harder. Take the calculated risk you've been circling for 2 years. Your walkaway number is bigger than your fear is telling you. And if you're already investing, already watching that compound curve start to bend upward, stay boring. Stay consistent. The compounding doesn't need your excitement. It needs your patience. Because here's the final truth underneath everything we just walked through, financial freedom was never one single number. It was never a mansion, a Lamborghini, or an arbitrary $1 million milestone plastered across a headline. It was always this, a ladder, a series of quiet psychological shifts, each one loosening the grip fear has on your decisions just a little more than the last. You don't need to reach level 7 to be free. You need to know exactly where you stand, and take one deliberate step toward the next rung.